Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm very happy today to be able to have a class. Today is our first class, MQR 8113 and MFQ 8113, Advanced Research Methodology. Today is our first class. So we start the class on Saturday, the 9th of March. So I welcome everybody to this class, and I welcome everybody to this PhD program. So this class is Advanced Research Methodology for PhD in Islamic Banking and Finance, and also for PhD in Management. So we combine two classes. So we have two PhD candidates in Islamic Banking and Finance, Mr. Ahmed Sulaiman and Bu Identity Ghazali, and one PhD candidate in Management, Madam Farah. So I welcome everybody. So this class is very important for PhD students because if the students can understand the basic knowledge and can apply this research, the methodology, then inshallah the PhD candidates won't have trouble to write the thesis. So before we start the class, let's introduce ourselves. We start with Ahmad Sulaiman. Can you turn on your video and introduce yourself? Okay, now we see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Ahmad Suleiman Muhammad. Ahmad Suleiman Muhammad. Originally, I am from Eritrea.
From where?
Eritrea, originally.
Oh,
Eritrea is a small country near Sudan and Ethiopia. It is a part of Habasha in the history.
Okay.
Yeah. But then after that, because of the problem, Ethiopia is a big country, controls us, and we have a lot of problems with our neighbor. We go to Sudan as refugees, our parents.
Okay.
You know, then, this is in the early 80s.
Okay.
1978, 1979, something like this. Then after that, we settled in Sudan, in Eastern Sudan. Even with Eastern Sudan, we have a relationship because the tribe, the same our tribes is in Eastern Sudan. They live in the border, so we don't face problem to settle and become part of the Sudanese community. I born and I grow in Sudan. Even now I hold Sudanese passport. My background, my bachelor in Sudan from accounting. Then after that, I did the master here in Malaysia in Museum University of Science Islam Malaysia, Nilai, Brisbane. And now I pursue my PhD here in Indonesia.
Masters in what?
In USIM, in administration of Muamalat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
administration of Muamalat. Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Now, Bu Identity, turn on you can unmute, yeah? You must unmute.
Ya, Prof. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I cannot see my camera. I don't see my face here.
We can see you.
You can see me.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can see, yeah.
Okay, my name is Identity. I'm from Indonesia. I'm a lecturer in economic faculty in State Islamic University of Suskaryau. And my major is accounting, but not bad, but I'm interested in Islamic economic actually. But the linear subject is finance. So due to that, my university as a Islamic university, so I think it's relevant if I have a field in finance, Islamic finance, I mean. I think that's all.
Okay,
Maybe,
thank you.
yeah, I think I have many, what is it? I consult much with Prof. Yusuf already, and we'll need your guide more,
Inshallah,
especially in
inshallah.
method research. And nice to meet you all. I think I hope I can make what is it? I can be a good math classmate and study with all my classmates here. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, I will be in Kuala Ketil tomorrow.
Okay. So inshallah we'll have class face-to-face tomorrow at 2:30.
Inshallah.
In my
Okay.
office, at the top of the ATM.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ready, Prof. Inshallah.
Okay. Now, Madam Farah, introduce yourself.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Is Farah Iza Dayhal Binti Azizan. So my friends call me Farah. I'm a new student, new registered for this semester, and I'm also a UNISHAM staff as well. And actually, I'm not really in this management area because I'm a technology people. Okay, I teach IT course in UNISHAM. Then I choose to further my study in management. I thought it will be a good or a challenge for me.
Okay.
So that's all. Okay, hope to see the other mates tomorrow.
Can we have our camera turn on all the time? Because if you turn off your camera, I will feel lonely.
Okay, Prof.
So I want this class to be an interactive session. So it's not just a lecture, but more of a discussion. Because at this level, I treat you as a PhD candidates. So it's not a one way. Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm Yusuf Haji Osman. My first degree is in economics. I studied at the University of Wisconsin in the US. And I also pursued my master's in economics at the same university, University of Wisconsin, one of the toughest university in the US. If you Google now, is ranked 12 in the US. So it's a very highly ranked university. And I did a PhD also at University of Wisconsin, but I couldn't complete. Okay. So, and then later on, I did my PhD at Queen here. And so my PhD is in Islamic finance. My first degree and master's in economics. Okay. So I've been teaching this class since 2016, MQR 8113, and also MFQ 8113. So it's been like 2016 now, 2024. It's almost 8 years. And before that, I taught research methodology at master's level since 2014. So this class is like my life, yeah? and I like this class. And Alhamdulillah, I have 27 PhD students under my supervision, including Mr. Ahmad and Bu Identity. So I will try my best to help all of you. I have 22 PhD students. I supervise as a main supervisor for 22 PhD students, and 5 PhD students I supervise as co-supervisor. So altogether 27, 22 plus 5. And I have 21 master students. So I live, I eat, I dream with thesis and dissertation and with research methodology. So it's my life. So okay, so let's start our class. I will share with you this teaching plan. So from my past experience, if PhD candidates really understand this class, that they should have a nice journey in the writing of a PhD thesis. But if PhD candidate, that from my past experience, if he or she had trouble understanding this class, then he or she will have trouble also in writing the PhD thesis. So that's why I think this class is very important. So if you don't understand, don't hesitate to ask. You can ask anytime, yeah, as I'm speaking. So this class is MFQ 8113, and we combine with also with MQR 8113. Before this, we had separate classes, but since this semester we combine this class. So because why we combine, because the syllabus or the contents of the course is the same. It's just the difference in terms of the context or the context of the research. The methodology is the same. So this course addresses the theoretical concept of research methods. So we will learn some of the theoretical concepts, yeah? And also this course will introduce the PhD candidates to the fundamental of preparing the research or the thesis, yeah? So as we go along this course, we will study the theoretical concepts of research methodology, and at the same time, we want to be able to apply the theoretical concepts to our writing of the PhD thesis. So I want everybody to prepare the topic so that as we go along, we can write and we can improve. So by the end of the course, the plan is for you to be able to write chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. For PhD, we have 5 chapters. So if you can complete or at least have some draft of chapter 1, 2, and 3, so that means you will be able to complete like 60% of your writing. Yeah, Bu Identity. Yeah, Mr. Ahmed and Bu Identity have submitted to me the draft of chapter 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So as we go along this class, so try to improve. Yeah, chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So for Madam Farah, as we go along, hopefully you'll be able to start writing.
Yes.
Start
But I think
writing
like
chapter 1, 2, and
the
3.
you have charts in here in the shops downstairs. Like when you go to the Merkel Suites, there's like a little shop. There are some kind of charts. I saw them. Maybe let's have a look.
Okay, you can unmute if you have questions. So for me, there is no use of learning research methodology if you cannot apply. Just like if you want to take a driving license, right? Suppose you have driving license. The driving license is of no use, Mr. Ahmed, if you don't know how to drive the car. Yeah. So if you understand research methodology, but you're not able to apply, then for me, it's no use. You know what happened? There are some people who teach research methodology, but still are not good at writing research. That is surprising, yeah? Not all, but I have come across some of my colleagues who teach research methodology, but when it comes to writing thesis, he or she is not really productive. So to me, if you know research methodology, you should be able to write a good research, write a good thesis, yeah? Mr. Ahmad, if you have driving license and you don't have a car, you don't know how to drive a car, so it is useless. Your driving license is useless. Okay, so we will learn a lot about research methodology in this class. And let me check. This is a recording. This is recorded, yeah? Okay. So we will learn some of the basic steps in a research process, how to write a problem statement, how to write research questions, research objectives, significance of the study, focus of the study, literature review, research methodology, data analysis, findings, discussion of the findings, and finally, the report writing, how to write a good thesis. So we'll try to combine research methodology and also the academic writing. All right, so the course learning outcome, number 1 is to explain various epistemological and ontological considerations, some of the concepts related with research. You will hear some of the concepts like problems, research problems, research underpinning theory, research design, data analysis, statistical inferences, and other ontology. Okay, number two, to demonstrate. So number one, basically, we want to understand the basic terms, the basic concepts related to research methodology. And then demonstrate a systematic. Can you see? Let me try to make it larger. Yeah? Can you see now? Number two, demonstrate a systematic understanding of various statistical techniques for quantitative research, and also some data analysis techniques for qualitative research as well. And then number three is the most important. At the end of the class, all the students, I prefer to say PhD candidates. All the PhD candidates will be able to prepare a research output in the form of a research report. So for this class, there are two research report. Number one is in the initial plan of the research, and number two, the proposal, the research proposal. So, Bu Identity, you ready to go with this journey? Don't be nervous.
Yes, Prof, I'm ready.
I have taught this class since 2016.
2016, okay?
And the data shows that nobody has failed this class. So according to the statistics, the passing rate is 100%. So please don't spoil that statistics. Yeah. I'm proud of the statistics. Most of the students.
Prof, total assessment is 60%.
Okay, so, so what happens is you'll have to submit individual assessment 20%, individual project 40%. So the total is 60%. The total carry mark is 60%. And for final exam, it'll be face to face, yeah. And the time is 3 hours face to face. If you need more time, let me know. So some of the students requires extra time for the final exam. So the most that I have given so far is 12 hours. It's 3 hours, but some PhD candidates, they require extra time. So I gave them 12 hours. So don't worry about the time. Yeah, the most important thing is you can answer.
Okay.
So if you forget, let me know. I will give you like 1 hour to look at the notes. Yeah? So I'm not really stupid, because my plan is to pass everybody. I don't want to fail anybody. Yeah? So the record shows that the passing all the students have never failed this class since 2016, since I taught this class. Okay, so for the assignment, I call it individual assignment. So for individual assignments, the students are required to submit an initial plan of a research topic. You need to choose a research topic. So Mr. Ahmad already have a research topic. Who Identity already have a research topic. So what you do is, Madam Farah, you can discuss with me later. We develop your topic. Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Ahmad and Bu Identity, for an individual assignment, you are set. All you have to do
Yeah.
is improve on the the draft that you submitted. All right. So your job is settled for individual assignment. So this is 20% of the total assessment. Yeah? For the individual project, you
Prof.
are required to submit a proposal. This is a research proposal, yeah? Which consists of chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Chapter 1 is introduction, chapter 2 is literature review, chapter 3 is research method. Okay, so the attendance is compulsory. And this is a module that I have written. So I will share with you this module. So for purpose of the class, I think my module is enough. But for additional references, I will also share with you other research methodology textbook. Creswell and Creswell 2017, Adams, Recite 2014, and some other textbook I will share with you. So don't worry, you don't have to buy any textbook. So everything will be given to you in soft copy. Okay, any question on the teaching plan? I will share with you later.
Yes, Prof. I want to ask about individual apa tadi ya? Individual project, personal assignment actually. At first, not actually. Personal assignment. What kind of task is it?
Okay, for you, you are done. So for assignment 1, you are done. So what you need to do? So my suggestion is you write chapter 1,
Right,
introduction,
chapter
right?
1.
Okay, and then for the literature review chapter 2, just write a few pages, 1 or 2 pages. And chapter
Literature.
3, 1 or 2 pages. For post assignment.
One or 2 pages, and then
the references.
references.
So
Just like the tajuk.
just like the initial plan that you submitted, yeah?
Okay, but it's need improvement.
Yes, it needs improvement, yeah?
Okay, then the individual project, Prof, is it different to the personal assignment?
Yes, let me show you the rubric, yeah?
Okay.
The rubric for, let me try to find. Can you see? This is the rubric for assignment 1, individual assignment. Can you see?
Choose a research topic and write an additional plan or
So this assignment
Yeah.
1, this assignment will be marked based on your ability to communicate and understanding of ideas and concepts in the initial plan. So this is like the initial plan, yeah?
Yeah.
So the initial plan consists of introduction. So my suggestion is you write chapter 1. Yeah? So for chapter 1, first you need to write the introduction, and then the background of the study. So first you need to establish the research purpose. So all the research, so before you write the research purpose, usually we need to write a research background or overview of the study. problem statement, research objectives, research questions. So I'm looking at the research questions and research objectives. It must be clear. So including the problem statement, yeah. We will talk more on this later. And then you need to establish the significance of the study, including the focus of the study or the scope of the study. So let me repeat first. Okay, so first the back. Okay. And then problem statement, and then research questions, research objective, significance of the study, and then you need to show a logical organization of ideas. So the flow of ideas must be in a structured and logical organization. So it has to be organized in an academic style of writing. And then a little bit about literature review, maybe 1 or 2 pages, and then research methodology, 1 or 2 pages. Okay? So that is the first assignment.
Okay.
Maybe I share with you. Let me try to find the previous assignment. This is just an example of the assignment. Yeah? So the cover page, assignment 1, initial plan of research topic chosen by students. So this is the topic, the influence of products and services, social and religious perspectives, and confidence on acceptance towards Islamic banking among non-Muslim customers. Okay, the name and the metric number. So this student is doing a PhD in Islamic banking and finance. So this is the content. He submitted chapter 1, introduction. Okay, let's see. So the contents, chapter 1, introduction. So usually for chapter 1, you start with introduction and then some of the background, yeah? Because he's doing PhD in Islamic banking in Malaysia. So he writes some background on Islamic banking in Malaysia, principles of Islamic banking, and then problem statement, and then research objectives. It should research questions should come first, yeah. But it doesn't matter at this stage, yeah. So problem statement, research questions, research objectives, significance of study, conclusion, references. And yeah, this is chapter 1. It contains a 1.1 introduction. And then background or overview of Islamic banking in Malaysia. And then problem statement. Problem statement 1.2. 1.3 should be research questions. 1.4 research objectives. So he has 3 research questions and 3 research objectives. Usually for PhD, we have between 3 to 5 research questions. So if you have, for example, 5 research questions, then you should have 5 research objectives. Research questions and research objectives reflect each other. So if you have 5 research questions, you should have 5 research objectives. So it reflects each other. For example, research questions. Is there any significant influence of products and service on the acceptance towards Islamic banking among non-Muslim customers in northern Malaysia? So that is the question. And the objective is to investigate the influence of product services on the acceptance towards Islamic banking among non-Muslim customers in northern Malaysia. So if you look at the keywords, the influence of products and service acceptance, significance of the influence of product and service on the acceptance. So the keyword here is product and service and acceptance. So in the research objective, it has the same keywords, yeah, products and services on the acceptance. So research questions and research objectives actually reflect each other, contain the same keywords, yeah. So let me read again. For example, the research question: is there any significant influence of products and service on the acceptance towards Islamic banking among non-Muslim customers in northern Malaysia? So the research question is to investigate the influence of products and service on acceptance. So this is a causality test, yeah. He wants to see whether products and service have significant influence on the acceptance. And here, and so the objective is to study or to investigate the influence of products and services on the acceptance. Okay, research questions, research objective, significance of the study, and then conclusion. Oh, he doesn't write on literature review. I think he forgot to write. Let's see what marks he get. Yeah? Okay. So he still get 18 out of 20. So the lecturer must be very lenient. Yeah? Okay. But for your case, okay, after writing chapter 1, you need to write chapter 2 and 3. Just chapter 2, just maybe literature review 2 pages. Chapter 3, maybe 2 pages. Okay, so that's for assignment 1. For assignment 2, you just continue what you have written in chapter 1. See, if you look at the rubric, number 1, establish the research purpose, is the same as assignment 1. As establish the significance of the study, the same. Organization and structure, the same. Only the difference is for literature review, this time you need to write the full chapter for literature review. Okay, so assignment 1 is just a continuation and improvement of assignment 1. So let me repeat, assignment 2 is just a continuation and improvement of chapter 1. Okay, so the difference is now chapter 2 must be a full chapter. Okay,
Prof.
and chapter 3 must be full chapter.
I can't see your screen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Can't see your screen.
Let me share again. I also cannot see my the screen.
Okay.
Okay, can you see now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so assignment 2 and assignment 1 is quite similar. Okay. So for assignment 2, the first category, establishing the research problem, is the same as assignment 1. So you just improve assignment 1, yeah? And then establish the research purpose, the same. And then establishing the significance of the study is the same. To get a high mark, you look at rubric number 4. Don't look at rubric 0. Eh? So if you write, so if research problem is vaguely stated, while research objectives are not clearly stated, you get 0. Focus on this one. Research problem is clearly stated. And then, so I look at the research problem or problem statement, and then research questions, research objectives. So as we go along, you can ask in the class whether your research questions and research objectives are clearly stated. And then significance of the study is clearly stated. And then for chapter 2, you need to write a full chapter on literature review. We will talk about how to write literature review later. And then you need to write the full chapter on research method. So you need to explain the methods for collecting and analyzing data. You need to discuss how the methods is aligned with the research questions and research objectives. So we will, and then you talk about data collection procedure, that data analysis techniques, and you need to write in a logical and academic manner. Okay, so I will also try to introduce some of the concepts related to academic writing. So you get 40 points by writing chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. So your supervisor will thank me and should send me flowers because I helped the students to write chapter 1, 2, and 3. I will ask every supervisor to send me flowers. But for Bu Identity and Mr. Ahmad, I cannot ask supervisor to send me flowers because I am your supervisor. So I have to send flowers to me.
Yeah,
So-
you
So I will
send
send
So we'll
flowers.
send to you.
How can you share with us this rubric after this?
Yes, I will share rubric 1, rubric the teaching plan, and the lecture materials. So
Okay.
everything will be shared, including the textbook.
Okay.
So everything you need, you just let me know. I will give it to you for free. within the
Okay,
module that are right. Yeah?
thank you.
Okay, can we take like 10 minutes coffee break, yeah? Before we start our class, yeah?
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Thank you, Prof. Belum ada suara, Prof.
Hmm.
Oke.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Let's look at the graph sent by Mr. Ahmed. Okay, so you have introduction, and then statement of problems, research objectives. You have 6 research objectives. So you need to write 6 research questions, yeah? You change from research aims to research objectives. And then limitations of the study, theoretical explanations and related research, literature review,
Yeah.
and research methodology. So, Mr. Ahmed, you are done with assignment 1.
Yeah.
You can improve and submit within 2 weeks, yeah? So, sudah siap? You are done.
Yeah. This is my
Bu identity,
Iya, Prof.
you submitted in hard copy, so you can submit in soft copy to me.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
The deadline.
the deadline, usually I give like 4 weeks, but you
4
can,
weeks.
yeah, you can submit tomorrow.
No, no, I cannot. No, I cannot.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Okay.
Mr. Ahmad, you can submit tomorrow. So this is
tomorrow.
this is so maybe next week, yeah. Maybe next week. Try to improve and
I need to present.
submit to Google Form. I will give you instruction. You submit in Google Form, yeah.
I already submitted.
Yeah, I will give you the link for Google Classroom. Everybody submits in Google Classroom. Beginning next week. That's like 1 month. So, Madam Farah, if you have any initial plan, you can submit also. And then we will try to improve from time to time. Yeah? So assignment 1 shouldn't be too difficult. Don't worry about making mistakes at this time, because as we go along, we will improve
Okay.
time to time. Yeah? So hopefully, in a few weeks, you will be able to submit a good initial plan. So I encourage you to share with me as soon as possible. Maybe in the next class, don't be afraid to share. The process of learning, especially at PhD level, the key to passing and finishing the thesis is by asking questions. سؤال مفتاح العلم. Asking questions is the key to knowledge. So you can ask, I encourage you to discuss among yourself and ask me questions. The more questions, the merrier. More questions, the better. Okay, so let's start our first topic. Our first topic is introduction to research. Okay, now what is research? So there are many definitions of research. This is one of the definitions. Research is defined as the creation of new knowledge and or the use of existing knowledge in a new way, in a new and creative way. So research is about creating new knowledge or use the existing knowledge in a new way, so as to generate new concepts. So by the end of the research, we'll be able to generate new concepts, new findings, new understandings, and perhaps new methodology of doing research. So especially at PhD, you need something new. The keywords is something new. We call something noble. So there is a sense of novelty. It sounds difficult, but I think it's manageable. It can be done. So, in my opinion, the best way to complete your PhD writing is by looking at other PhD theses and other research that have been done on the same field. Yeah. For example, Mr. Ahmed is trying to write a thesis on zakat distribution and poverty alleviation. Yeah. So look at other PhD theses. Look at other research done on the same field, so that along the way you will not get lost. For example, if you want to go to a jungle or a forest, don't just go into the jungle or forest by yourself. Ask others who have gone to the jungle or to the forest. Okay, so find out how they succeeded in going into the forest and coming back, so that you will not get lost. Similarly, okay, you should ask your supervisor. You should have references, yeah. A good references, other thesis, and other research on the same field. So the definition of research encompasses that we have a pure research, we have applied research, and we have experimental development research. So for PhD students in management and Islamic banking, usually we have pure research and a combination of applied research. So we will study what is the difference between pure research and applied research. So what is research? In our field, in management and also in Islamic finance, we are in the area of social research. So in social research, we try to produce new knowledge, get new findings, so that it helps us to understand the social world. So in our area, Islamic finance or management. So one of the methods of doing social research is, for example, using a questionnaire or secondary data or observations and interview, focus group discussions, so that in order for us to get new knowledge, we have to find new evidence, new data. So that is the key. Okay. So social research is a way of building knowledge, getting more evidence, getting new evidence that promotes agreed upon practices within the research community that help us avoid the limitation and pitfalls of other ways of knowing. In other words, we try to find, to produce some sense of novelty, something new, in order for us to gain understanding about what is happening in our social order. And we have Islamic finance, we have management. So find the areas that you are interested in and try to build like a new knowledge. So that is the idea of research. So social research has developed as a way of building knowledge that promotes agreed upon practices within the research community. So we have personal beliefs. Before we do the research, we have personal beliefs. Yeah. For example, we believe that zakat distribution should help the poor and the needy, should play some roles in alleviating the poverty. So that is the personal beliefs. Yeah. But is it true? Is it true? And to what extent it is true? To what extent, for example, zakat is able to alleviate poverty, alleviate hunger, help those poor and needy? So that's why we do research. From our personal belief, then we will develop hypothesis and we'll go through the process of doing research until we get the evidence to support or not support our beliefs. We call the hypothesis. Yeah? So in the end, when we got the evidence might support our personal beliefs or our hypothesis, and it might not support. Yeah. So some PhD students get nervous. Yeah. If the evidence does not support the hypothesis, or if the hypothesis is rejected, oh, am I going to get PhD? So that's one of the concerns. Yeah. But don't worry. If you do it correctly, so the evidence might support your hypothesis or might not support your hypothesis. So if it supports your hypothesis, then you just justify. And if it does not support your hypothesis, or if the hypothesis is rejected, it's still okay as long as you can justify. There is one student a long time ago when I was doing PhD. He was also doing PhD at other institution, and after the proposal defense, he collected the data, right? And one of the hypotheses is rejected. And then he was so worried. He said he prayed a lot, and he was not a Muslim. I said, "Oh, you pray a lot. You're not a Muslim." But he said, "Oh, I also pray." And he was nervous because one of the hypotheses is rejected, and most other research shows that the hypothesis is accepted. So he said, "Oh, there goes my PhD." He was worried, and then he prayed a lot, and he was afraid that his supervisor would not accept for him to go to Mount Fiverr. And then suddenly he said, "God help me. I found one or two articles that shows that the hypothesis is rejected." Yeah. So he used the two articles to justify why the hypothesis is rejected. And he went for mock viva, and then he went for viva, and he passed the viva. So I just want to share some of the experience of PhD candidates, yeah? Okay, anyway, so in the end of our research, we might produce an evidence that support the personal beliefs or the hypothesis, and we might produce something that is not supported. So either way is okay. So don't worry about it. As long as you do the right way of collecting data, analyzing data, and come up with the findings. Okay. Any questions so far? Brother Ahmad, ask questions. السؤال مفتاح العلم.
Inshallah. I will ask later on.
So if you don't ask, that means you understand everything. Okay, what is the purpose of doing the research? Of course, for you, the purpose is to pass PhD, yeah? But for researchers, there are many purposes for conducting research. Here are some of the primary purpose for doing research. An example of the main purpose of doing research. Now, number one is exploration. So for this first purpose, the purpose is to explore what why there are some research aims to explore. We call exploratory research. Exploratory research is a type of research that aims to explore something. Explore is done when the research is when the topic is under research. That means there are not many research done on the topic. So the main aim is to explore, to go to where no one has gone before. Yeah, to do something that not many people, not many researchers have studied before. So we have a new or relatively under research topic. There are some research topics that are not that the studies have not been done. There are limited studies on the topic. So exploratory research is a type of research to learn about the topic, to explore about the topic. So exploratory research can help us fill a gap in our knowledge about new area or an area that is under research. Not many research have been done. Or exploratory research is also an approach to the topic from a different perspective. For example, in the topics of compliance behavior of zakat, there are many research that have been done to study the determinants that influence the compliance behavior of zakat. But most of the studies have used or have employed a quantitative approach. So if you want to do something new, for example, you still want to explore the determinants of compliance behavior of zakat. You want to study why people pay zakat, why people don't pay zakat, and you want to do it differently. Then how? Okay. If most of the previous studies have done quantitative approach, have used quantitative approach, you might want to find a new approach. For example, a qualitative approach using interview, using focus group discussion. So that is also called exploratory research. You do the research using a different approach, yeah? Using a different method to generate new and emerging evidence or emerging findings. When researchers conduct a literature review and come up short, this absence of adequate research is often an indicator that exploratory research is needed. Exploratory research is quite challenging when it comes to doing literature review, because not many studies have been done on the topic. So that is quite challenging to find the literature review, to do the literature review. So to do exploratory research, usually the researchers use qualitative data, a qualitative approach. Yeah. So we will study more about the difference between quantitative and qualitative research. So for exploratory research, most studies use qualitative data, qualitative approach. Because for qualitative approach, usually we don't require voluminous literature review. Okay. So this initial research may point researchers towards certain research questions, methods for data collection, participants, and also audiences. So usually for exploratory research, researchers tend to go for quantitative data analysis for the purpose of data collection, choose the participants and or the audience in order to come up with the evidence, and from that evidence or from that findings, in the end, the researcher might want to come up with his or her own hypothesis, his or her own theory, his or her own framework, for example. So if, for example, if we want to explore how young people of different racial backgrounds have used social media to learn about or share about their ideas about this event and their motivations for doing so, we might turn to focus group interviews, yeah, FGD, or focus group discussions, yeah, to explore their attitudes. So for exploratory research, usually the researchers go for qualitative approach using interviews or using focus group discussions to get the data, to get the findings, to get the data and analyze the data to get the findings. And from the findings, it'd be interesting if he or she can come up with her own theory or hypothesis or theoretical framework. Okay, so that is the first main purpose of doing research, to explore something. And the second purpose is to describe, descriptive research. So usually in academics, descriptive research is allowed for first degree and master's degree. For PhD, usually we don't encourage PhD students to do the descriptive study, because the main purpose for doing the descriptive study is just to describe something, to describe individuals, groups, activities, events, or situations. So just describe something, describe a certain phenomena, describe a certain experience of individuals, experiences of groups, just to describe a certain events, certain phenomena, without explaining why the event or why the event or the phenomena occurs. So it's quite simple. You just describe something without explaining why it happens. Yeah. So descriptive research aims to generate what Clifford Geertz referred to as thick description of social event. Just explain something that happens. Provide details, meanings, and context, typically from the perspective of the people living in it. So usually for descriptive research, most researchers usually go for a qualitative research. For example, a researcher might want to study the activities of certain group. For example, why native people, yeah, orang asli, why native people do certain things, and when they do it, and why, and when they do it. For example, a researcher might want to find the daily activities of native people in Cameron Highland, for example. Yeah. So the procedure is to go to the location, okay, and do the what you call the observation. Yeah, do the observation, record the observation in the forms of writings, in the forms of videos, and then in the end, hopefully, the the researcher can describe, yeah, the activities, describe the events or the certain situations that happens. So that is the descriptive approach. So one of the methods to do descriptive research is to observe, rigorous observation. Sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it takes 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, for example, to live with certain people, to live with native people, for example. I met with one researcher from Australia who spent 4 months doing descriptive study on the social connection and social events and social activities among native people in Cameron Highland. Imagine one researcher from Australia spent 4 months living with the native people. Yeah, Mr. Ahmad, in Malaysia we have native people. Usually they live in a in a jungle or in a mountain among themselves. In Indonesia, do you have native people? Bu Identity.
Yes, in Riau we have Dayak. No, not Dayak, Sakai. Sakai tribe. And in Kalimantan, Borneo, we have Dayak. And in Jambi, we have Kubu. And in Banten, we have Badui.
Oh, Badui. I thought Badui
Yes.
is in Saudi.
Not only in Saudi, we have Badui too in West Java, in Banten province.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the word comes drives from Arabic.
Maybe
Badui.
could be, yeah, it could be.
Do you have native people in Sudan?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Near the southeast Sudan, near Ethiopia, there is Gambela.
Gambela.
Gambela people, yeah. They live in Sudan and also Ethiopia. Also between Kenya and Ethiopia, there is another people. I forget the name. Even they don't have clothes. They live just
Oh.
some
Yeah. We
National
met.
Geographic has a documentary.
I found that researchers from the West, the
Yeah.
UK, the US, French, even Australia, they like to do a research on a group of people, like native people, in order to describe what's going
Kearifan lokal.
the
Local
event,
wisdom.
the events, the daily activities. Usually the researchers are outside of the respondents. For example, an Australian doing the research, descriptive research to describe the social events, social activities among the certain group of people, certain ethnics. So that is the descriptive research, just to describe what's going on in details and provide the meanings and provide the context. In 2006, I met this researcher from Japan. She was doing PhD in 2006, and she couldn't speak English. Sorry, she couldn't speak Malay. So she spoke a little English. So I became the translator for her. She wanted to study the influence of religious education on human behavior, whether the Islamic religious education has a positive or negative influence on human behavior. And then she also wanted to know why the perception of Malaysians towards Japanese during World War II was so bad, because most of the Malaysians, they have a negative perspective on the Japanese because in 1942 and 1943, the Japanese came to invade us. Yeah, Japanese invasion. So our parents really had a negative perspective. And the researcher was a female, and she was non-Muslim from Japan. And she spent a couple of months in religious institutions because she wanted to study and describe the impact of Islamic religious education on human behavior. And then to cut the story short, towards the end of the research, she became a Muslim because she was impressed with how the Islamic education, have influenced people in such a positive way, and then she got hidayah from Allah, because after understanding what Islamic education is all about, she's finally found the truth. And I attended her wedding. So that was my experience. But I was astonished at how interested she was when she did the research. Imagine coming all the way from Japan by herself and spent like 4 or 5 or 6 months all by herself while observing how the Islamic religious education was carried out, how it impacted the students, the Islamic students' behavior. Okay, that is the second purpose of doing research, to describe some phenomena, whether individuals or groups or activities or events or situations. So in this second objective, the researcher used what we call the qualitative approach. So the third type is explanatory. So this is one of the main purpose, the primary purpose that was chosen by many PhD students at UniShams, which is to explain something. So this is the third type, is called explanatory research. So explanatory research is a research when we want to explain why something happens. Why people pay zakat? Why people don't pay zakat, for example, yeah? Why people choose Islamic banking? Why many Muslims still do not choose Islamic banking? So we want to explain why, the determinants or the factors that influence a certain behavior. So that this is a quite what is it, the famous, yeah, or the trending, yeah, in PhD thesis, to do this explanatory research. So usually the researchers will use quantitative approach. Yeah, we have the causes and we have the effects. If something happened, why it happens? And we want to show the causality, the causal relationship. Yeah, we have causes or factors or determinants, and the effects. Yeah, the effects is the title of our research. For example, we want to study the compliance behavior of zakat, for example. So that is called the effect. Why people pay zakat? why people comply to pay with zakat, why people don't comply with zakat payment. So the why is the causes or the determinants and the factors. So why things are the way they are? What causes certain phenomena? So this is called the explanatory research. So this type of research is commonly used by PhD students here to find the factors or the determinants. Yeah, we call the causal relationships. Why A has a significant influence on B. Okay. Why attitude influence the compliance behavior of zakat. How, for example, how subjective norm influence the compliance behavior of zakat. So we want to explain the causal relationship. The main idea is why why something happened, the factors or the determinants. We want to find something new. For example, if previous researchers found that attitude, subjective norm, perceived behavioral control has significant influence on compliance behavior, we want to find out if, for example, there are other factors or other determinants that influence the compliance behavior. That is just an example. So we want to study correlations, we want to study the regression, and we want to study the structural equation that relates the causes with the effect. So this explanatory research is useful when we want to explain why things are the way they are. What are the factors that influence certain phenomena? Why there are still many Muslims in Indonesia who choose conventional banking? So we want to know why. Okay, and the fourth one we will skip because it's not related to our PhD thesis. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. Is there a criteria or a reason why most students in Indonesia choose to do explanatory research compared to exploratory research?
Very good question. I think this is just my opinion. I think they look at the senior. For example, they look at the thesis by other people who already passed PhD, and since the previous thesis used explanatory research, so they just say, okay, I just want to do this. And secondly, I think the PhD students, they are afraid to fail. Yeah. So, for example, if they do descriptive research, you need to go to the field. Okay, you need to go. For example, you want to study a certain phenomena. You need to go there to the field and observe, do the observation, do the recordings, and then analyze. And not many people have done that. So when there are not many people who have used descriptive study, so I think the PhD students are afraid to try because the most important thing is to pass the PhD. I think that's why. And for example, my PhD also used explanatory research, yeah, with using a quantitative analysis, using structural equation modeling, and then since I do explanatory research, my students also want to do explanatory research. So because we have a certain constraint, yeah? The advantage of using quantitative study is you kind of know towards the end of the tunnel. You want to finish in 3 semesters, right? So first semester you do initial plan, and then second semester proposal defense. If you want to collect quantitative data, you can estimate, for example, 2 weeks to collect data, 2 weeks to analyze the data, and then 1 month you are done. But suppose you do this descriptive, yeah, you might want to go and describe a certain events, yeah, and then it's kind of difficult to manage. Plus, if you are a lecturer, you don't have time. You don't have time, for example, to go and observe some phenomena. You might have time to go for an interview, yeah? But you don't have time to go for observation and live with those people. So there's nothing wrong with descriptive studies. You can still do. It's manageable if you use interview and also focus group discussion. Yeah, I have 2 PhD students, yeah, from Indonesia who choose to use descriptive study using the method of interview and also focus group discussion. So it's still okay. I think Mr. Ahmad will do descriptive study also. Yeah. You want to study the influence of zakat on poverty alleviation. So one of the methods might be to collect secondary data, and maybe you might want to complement the data with interviews with experts or interviews with the poor and the needy to see how much zakat have helped them over the years. So it's still okay. So you can choose descriptive study. You can choose explanatory study. Usually the descriptive study use qualitative data, usually. And usually the explanatory study uses the quantitative data.
Prof, can I say, or can I make a conclusion like this? So this type of research, the exploratory, explanation, descriptive, is something to do with the methodology,
Yes,
the methodology approach.
yes. Number one, you might want to come up with the objectives, yeah. For example, the research questions and the research objectives, and from the research questions and research objectives, you might want to try to think about how to answer research questions, how to answer research objectives, and you might want to find what is the best way to answer research questions and research objectives. And then for some research questions and research objectives, it can be answered using interviews, using focus group discussions, For some others, it can be answered using quantitative analysis. Yeah. For example, if you want to find out, for example, what are the factors influencing compliance behavior of zakat? For example, why certain people pay zakat? Why certain Muslims don't pay zakat? So you might want to come up with the questionnaire and then distribute the questionnaire and then get the data, analyze the data quantitatively. So it depends. Some people are comfortable with quantitative style of analysis, so they use explanatory research. Some people are comfortable with qualitative style. Maybe Mr. Ahmad, you are comfortable with a qualitative style. So you choose a descriptive study. So it depends on your background and depends on your interest. Yeah. So some people say, "Oh, I'm not a quantitative guy, so I don't want to do a quantitative study." Some people, they are comfortable with quantitative, so they choose this explanatory study. So my advice is, depends on your background, depends on your interest. So, for example, Madam Farah is comfortable with quantitative analysis. You can use explanatory. If you are,
Prof,
sure.
okay, I have another question. Okay, I received a comment from one of my presentation. Okay, the panel said that the objective of the research actually reflects your methodology approach. Is it true?
Perfect. 100% correct.
Yeah. So
So
if you have to write the what we said, the research objective must be right accordingly to the methodology.
exactly, that is 100% correct. For example, suppose I write a research objective. Number one, to examine the influence of attitude on compliance behavior of income zakat in Kedah. Okay, to examine the influence of attitude on the compliance behavior of zakat in Kedah. What we see there, the influence of attitude on compliance behavior. So that tells you that you want to do the causes and effect, the explanatory study. And then how are we going to explain whether attitude influence the compliance behavior? So from that objective, a good researcher will be able to know already the method to be used. Number one, whether the method is quantitative or qualitative. Okay, so so let's go back to examine the influence of attitude and on the compliance behavior. So there are two ways to achieve that objective. One is by doing quantitative research, right? Set out questionnaire, form a questionnaire, and then we will discuss later how to write questionnaire items, how to go for validity and reliability, and then send out the data, collect the data, analyze the data. So that is one way. The second way, that's not the only way. The second way is you can also go for interview and focus group discussions. You can ask people, right? You can ask a certain group of people on why they choose to pay zakat, or why they choose not to pay zakat. From that, you can also find out whether attitude has influence or not. So depends on the method that you choose, really depends on the objective. Yes, Mr. Ahmed, you have question?
Yeah. Can we mix? Can we mix?
We cannot hear you. You have to turn up the volume.
Okay. And now,
Yes.
okay. Can we mix between two approaches? For example, the description or the explanation approach. Can we mix between two approaches at the same as the mixed? Or you must follow one of those approaches?
We will study later. We can use quantitative approach or qualitative approach or mixed approach. So mixed approach is a study that combines both quantitative and also qualitative data. So it depends on the researcher whether they want to do quantitative or qualitative or mixed approach. If it is manageable, the best is to use a mixed approach. But most of the PhD students here, they only choose one approach because of the time constraint. Of course, if you choose mixed approach, you will get more information, but it requires a longer time. Some people, they want to finish PhD and go back to their country.
Because I chose the mixed approach.
Okay.
That
If you choose mixed, inshallah, we try to manage. Okay, we try to manage. Although it requires more time and more effort, I think it can be done. It can be done. Okay, so I think we stop here for our first class. Do you still have energy? If you still have energy, can we continue at 3 o'clock? So we'll have second class. We have to meet 14 times. If,
For me, it's okay as long as I have power.
okay, 3 o'clock. You
I
still
mean,
have time to charge.
yeah, I mean, no, I think I will going to TBS
Oh,
after Zuhur.
okay,
There is no charger. There is no charge
okay,
for phone, and I don't bring my
yeah.
apa itu? Aduh lupa.
That
Power bank. Ya Allah.
that
Yeah,
is okay.
I don't bring my power bank.
So in that case, we meet tomorrow. Face to face, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, inshallah.
The face to face we meet in my office, and will have a class at a meeting room
Okay.
next to my office, inshallah.
Okay.
So I will share all the materials in WhatsApp group after this, yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so thank you everybody for joining this class. So inshallah, we will go through together. I hope you are motivated to study research methodology. You have to be motivated because number one, you have to pass, but don't worry about passing. But more importantly is how you use the knowledge from this class to write your thesis. That is most important. Okay. So inshallah we'll meet tomorrow at 2:30, I think. Can we meet 2:30 tomorrow?
Inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Okay, thank you everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.